Speech X is probably a fundamental and the most popular aspect of contemporary pragmatics. It's so popular in pragmatics that many people or new learners of pragmatics believe that pragmatics is actually the study of speech X, because it's the speech X which focus on various aspects of how intended meanings are conveyed through language within a certain context, because speech X focus on the functions of language instead of what it literally says. The proponents of speech X believe that language, unlike the belief of logical positivists, language is not reduced to convey the truthfulness or falsity of certain statements in a language. Rather, it is there to perform certain actions. So, human beings do perform actions through language. This is the basis of speech X theory. Speech X may be defined as those actions which human beings perform through their speech. Similar to physical acts, we do perform various acts. For example, we give orders, we request others, we do give warnings or advices or pieces of advice to others. So they all are considered to be linguistic or speech acts. And these speech acts do convey meanings from which may be beyond surface or literal meanings. For example, if somebody says it is hot here, this may not be a mere information about the weather. Rather, it may be read as a request to switch on a fan or air conditioner in the room. Because when somebody says it's very hot here, it might be a request for switching on some electric thing which could change the environment. So human beings employ this language quite uniquely and creatively in order to generate new meanings, and these new or implied meanings could be considered speech acts performed by the users of language. There are various facets of speech acts. For example, we have locationary facet or locationary act, which is based on the literal meaning of a speech or a sentence. Then we have illocationary act, which is based on the implied or intended meaning of the speaker. As in the previous example, we could see that the request for switching on some air conditioner or fan were the implied or illocationary meanings. Then we have perlocationary act. It's the effect or take up of an utterance on the listener of that utterance. So this can also be considered as the result of locationary or illocationary acts. If you look at the example here, the sentence, if somebody says shoot her, what is the meaning of shoot and her? They are the literal or locationary acts performed in this statement. Then this could be an advice or an order. A speaker may convey different intentional meanings or illocationary acts when he says the same statement in different situations. So the urge which is being meant by this statement could be treated as the illocationary act. Then the perlocation could the persuasion, the element, somebody persuaded another person to shoot somebody else. So if he actually started believing in it or started doing it, the element of persuasion can be considered as a perlocation of the same statement. There are various types of speech acts which were furthered by Searle in 1976, and among them 5 major types are identified here. We do have representatives which commit speakers to the truth of expressed propositions in a sentence. For example, speaker believes them to be the case, and these are asserting, concluding, statements of fact. For example, the earth is flat, it was a warm, sunny day. These are the statements of fact which may be considered as representatives. Directives are based on the attempts by the speakers to get the addressee to do something for him or herself. And this could be in form of a request or in order or a question. Could you bring me the coffee? Or do not touch that. They could be considered as directives. Commissives are those expressions which commit the speaker for a future course of action. For example, it could be in form of a promise or an offer, a threat, or a refusal statement. I'll be back is probably a promise to come back in future, and there is a commitment by the speaker or a promise by the speaker for a future course of action. Then we have expressive, which express the psychological and emotional state of a speaker. For example, the state of thanking, apologizing, and congratulating. I'm really sorry for this. This could be a typical example of expressives. Or congratulations, that's great, can be considered other examples of such expressives. Then declarations are those statements or speech acts which actually affect the immediate changes in the institutional state of affairs. They, roughly speaking or generally speaking, they bring in bigger changes in the lives of the people or institutions, and they may be seen in the acts of marrying, declaring war, or firing somebody from the service. And the expression like, I now pronounce you as husband and wife, this brings in a bigger change in the lives of the people. And then you are out to fire somebody. These examples could be considered as declarations. All these speech acts help us understand the intended meanings of a speaker.